is poor, he is blind, and he will be a paradigm, one of Jesus' greatest finds, there beside the road. Calling out, he has the nerve to want what he does not deserve. All the beggar's begging for is mercy from the Lord. So come all you beggars, up on your feet, take courage, he's calling to you to surrender your striving and find the nerve to boldly ask for what you don't deserve. A timeless moment caught in time, the beggar leaves it all behind. Then the perfect paradigm calls Jesus by name. Falling down on his knees with one request he wants to see, and he could see immediately when Jesus said go. So come all you beggars, up on your feet, take courage, he's calling to you to surrender your striving and find the nerve to boldly ask for what you don't deserve. Okay, Mark is Peter's gospel. Mark is a disciple of Peter, a follower of Peter. In 1 Peter, he's referred to as my son. So Mark and Peter have this, big brother, little brother kind of relationship. And Mark is written to a group of people who are suffering persecution. It's written just after the fire in Rome, and persecution is broken out. Christians are being crucified for the first time, being, set on fire and thrown to wild beasts and that sort of thing. And so if you read the Gospel of Mark, realizing it's written to that particular group, it comes to life. Mark's not really interested, for example, in the story of Jesus' temptation in the wilderness. It's only a couple of verses long. There's no threefold temptation, Satan tempting Jesus to turn the bread and the stones into bread and that sort of thing. But when Mark does tell that story, he adds one detail that none of the other gospel writers add, and that is that when he was in the wilderness, Jesus was with the wild beasts. And that plugs into the life situation of Mark, because those first readers of the Gospel of Mark were being thrown to wild beasts in the arena. The other thing that Mark is really interested in, and Peter is interested in, I think, is that you must believe before you see in the Gospel of Mark. Peter's confession that Jesus is the Christ must happen before the Transfiguration. The Transfiguration isn't proof. Jesus doesn't do proof. And so when you come to the end of the Gospel of Mark, you meet this little man that this song is about, the blind man Bartimaeus. Only Mark tells us his name. He's interested. Matthew tells the story, but he's not that interested in it. I think Luke tells us about Nick, the little man in the tree, Zacchaeus. So in Luke, as Jesus is entering Jericho, he meets Zacchaeus. In Mark, as he's leaving Jericho, he meets, on his way to Jerusalem, he meets Bartimaeus. And Bartimaeus is the disciple Jesus has been looking for 3 years, because he believes before he sees. He's blind, so he's never seen anything. But he's the only person in the gospel who calls Jesus, Jesus. He's the only person in Mark that names Jesus by his name, so he's special. But he's calling out for mercy. He's calling out for Jesus to give him, by definition, what he doesn't deserve. And that's probably the first step that all of Jesus' disciples have to be willing to make, to ask for, to beg for what we don't deserve. That's mercy.